Welcome guys to the Meet Damien live stream. I am Damien, and today's live stream we'll be talking about Bitcoin like we normally do. We'll talk about the altcoins because they're finally getting back. They're clawing back the losses that they had this week. They're trying to get some of their gains back here. And then of course, anything else you guys want to talk about, stocks or commodities, we can talk about that as well. I'm doing requests. This is a user requests live stream. I'll be taking requests on your altcoins, so go ahead and fire away what coins you want me to talk about, and we'll look at them on the charts here. But right now we'll start with Bitcoin and what's going on with Bitcoin. All right, so we're looking at the 4-hour time frame because I see some interesting stuff here in the 4-hour time frame. Bitcoin currently trading at $69,930, up 11% today. And on the 4-hour time frame, what I am concerned about here is this white line here. This is the 21 exponential moving average on the 4-hour time frame. This could put a lid or a cap on whatever rally that we got. And you can see that we had a nice little rally starting last night when Bitcoin dropped down to 60K, and then continue on throughout the night and the morning hours here going into this afternoon. And we're not able to get past this 21 EMA on the 4-hour time frame. It's getting rejected right now. Right now, the 21 EMA is at 70,900. This is to be expected. Okay, it would be, highly unlikely for us to just punch right through past this white line, because this white line has acted as resistance in the past. Right back here on Tuesday, it acted as resistance. Over here on Thursday, January 29th, acted as resistance. We got above it on around Tuesday on the 27th and Wednesday the 28th. Okay, but when we get above it, we don't really stay above it for too long. So I am interested in shorting Bitcoin if we do get above this white line. Okay, I think some interesting areas to short is like 74, 75K, where we kind of traded sideways back here on Monday and Tuesday. This would be an area that, if we get it past this white line, I think 74, 75 could act as resistance. If I go into the 8-hour time frame, you'll see on the 8-hour time frame there is a 21 EMA on the 8-hour time frame. There's $75,000. So I think if we push up past the 4-hour resistance and we get up to the 8-hour resistance, I think that's going to be more significant, where we could finally get an area where Bitcoin gets rejected off of the 74K area, comes back down, and we can make some money shorting Bitcoin at 74K. 70K or 71K was an idea, and I did talk about this in the Discord, that I was interested in maybe shorting Bitcoin at 71K. I didn't actually do that. Right now, I actually kind of long Bitcoin because I don't know if we're going to actually punch right past this and go up to 74 or 75K. So I kind of want to take advantage of that little scalp if we are going to go past this white line. But right now, it's looking like the white line's kind of an issue. It's being a problem right now, this 21 EMA. So I don't know. I might get stopped out of my long on Bitcoin, and then maybe I might have to flip into a short here. Okay, let's see what the momentum was looking like, because I think the momentum was telling me that we could go higher. Okay, momentum right on market cipher B. You see that the blue stuff here is curving up. We had a green buy dot yesterday, last night, and money flow is curving back up. If money flow keeps curving back up and we actually get a little bit of green, you'll see Bitcoin probably push up to 72, 73, maybe 74K. But we gotta continue seeing this positive direction to the upside here. If money flow starts coming back down again, like we saw here on the 4-hour time frame, where we curved back up only then to curve back down again, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem. And maybe this is the highs that we see for today and this weekend is $70,000 Bitcoin. Okay, let's get into the 1-hour time frame, see if the 1-hour time frame has some momentum behind it. On the 1-hour time frame, you see the blue stuff is the momentum, right? The blue stuff shows momentum was to the upside last night going into this morning. And then the money flow was in the negative last night, but then it started going into the green here Friday morning here around 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Eastern time. and money flow has been in the green and it's staying in the green. However, the thing that I'm a little bit worried about right now is that we did get a red dot that just printed at 3 p.m. Eastern time here, and this could be an issue. Okay, unless we immediately get a green buy dot to cancel out, maybe we might have just seen the highs for the day at Bitcoin at 71,400. So I'm a little bit worried about that. And then here on the MACD on the 1 hour time frame, of course, selling pressure from yesterday turned into buying pressure this morning. But now the buying pressure is kind of like slowly dying off right now, and I think mainly because people on Wall Street, the Bitcoin ETFs, I think they're done buying for now, so there's not that as much buying pressure. But it is Friday, and I know people just got paid, right? Today's payday for a lot of retail investors out there. So we'll see if they're gonna actually show up later on tonight to buy Bitcoin again and buy some of these altcoins. Because that was like the only saving grace I could think of when we were talking about Bitcoin at 60K and 63K yesterday on my live stream. We were like, well, what could save us? Well, Friday's payday, and this weekend people might start buying altcoins because altcoins went on sale this week. So I think we might see that. We might see money go into altcoins if Bitcoin just goes flat. If Bitcoin can just stay at 70K and not actually drop down to 60K, or the low 60s here, then I think we could be seeing a little bit of an altcoin rally where the altcoins can gain back what they lost yesterday and this week. And we have seen here the altcoins in the green, double-digit gains here for Ethereum, double-digit gains here for Solana when it was like double-digit losses yesterday. Sui up 13%, XRP up almost 20% here at $1.45. And Zcash up 17% here. So we're seeing like some of the altcoins get back what they lost yesterday. Let me get into the comments here, see what you guys have to say, see if there's any requests for any particular altcoins here. And let me just zoom back to see what you guys have said, because I know I gave a little bit of a spiel there. But let me see what you guys had to say while I was doing my spiel. Lev Tosha says, Leora Nuclear Beam. What is the ticker symbol for that? Is that a stock or a crypto? It sounds like it might be a stock if it's related to nuclear energy. But go ahead and tell me what is the ticker symbol for Leora Nuclear Beam? Because I'll look it up for you. I just need to know what the ticker symbol is. Thank you, AC, for following me here on TikTok. Appreciate that. Thank you, Paul, for following me here on TikTok. Appreciate that as well. Let's see. Jay Jong has followed me here. Thank you for following me. And Idrea says short, and then Ray says it's fake. So Idreas, we are interested in shorting Bitcoin and crypto if we push up to higher prices here, because we're still in the longer term picture in a downtrend on Bitcoin and crypto here. Okay. I would not be bullish again on Bitcoin until we get above the 200-day moving average, which is sitting at 102K. If Bitcoin can get up to 102K, which is $30,000 away, but if it can do that, and it can do that quick, like within the next week or the next month, then I'd be like, yeah, you know what, Bitcoin might have just had a flash crash and a correction here, and maybe that's the end of the bear market or the bearishness here. But we got to get above that 200-day moving average, that red line up top there, sitting at 102,700 for me to flip bullish here on Bitcoin. Right now, I expect any uptrend or any bullishness in the market to be temporary, and I expect another rejection in a lower high here. I'm on the daily time frame here for Bitcoin, and I know we had a little bit of a relief rally going on in like December and going into January, but here's the problem. Bitcoin actually was pushing and looking good in the middle of January, and we got rejected off the 50-day moving average. Okay, this green line here. If Bitcoin was actually bullish, I would be looking, for longs, obviously, and I would be, we would have seen Bitcoin push past the 50 over to the 100, and from the 100 back up to the 200, which, these moving averages are above you, acting as resistance right now. Bitcoin couldn't get past the 50-day, and if Bitcoin is going to continue doing a little bit of a relief rally here, yeah, maybe Bitcoin could climb up to that green line again one more time. That green line is sitting at 91K. And if we climb up to 91K and get rejected, well, guess what? It ends up being another lower high compared to the high that we had here in January when we were at like $97,900 Bitcoin. So I think you know, we still have to be wary of lower highs here on Bitcoin until Bitcoin starts making higher highs. All Bitcoin has to do right now for me to be bullish again or more bullish, just get above what you did here in January. Can you get above 97,900? If you can do that, then I'll be more bullish on Bitcoin, and I'll be like, all right, yeah, we might be in a, you know, we might be in the beginning of a new bull market here for Bitcoin. But you got to do that. You got to get above $97,000, which is now the last lower high here. You know, if we don't go higher than 97,000, then anything that we do between now and 97,000 is just gonna be another lower high. That's probably gonna get sold off. Okay. But yeah, I mean, we had a vicious downdraft here, and what could happen now is we could just end up flagging between, we could just be bouncing and be range bound between like 60K and 70K for like the next, you know, couple of weeks here. Like 70K might be the high water mark for now. If it is, and we go back down to 60K, then I do want to look for a short, you know, where I can take Bitcoin from 70K down to 60K, take profit on my short at 60K. You know, it's all part of day trading here. But you do what you gotta do to make your money, right? It's your money. It's not financial advice. You do whatever you need to do to try and make money in these markets. But I do day trading, and I also do swing trading and long-term investing. Right now, I'm not long-term invested in any crypto right now because I think, you know, Bitcoin could, you know, go down to lower prices. I have levels here at like 51K and also 43K are some areas that I would be more interested in buying Bitcoin. Right now, I have to see how Bitcoin handles itself. Right now, today, Bitcoin did pretty well trying to get back up to 70K. Congratulations to the Bitcoin investors. But it's just one day. You know, if we get another few bad days here, we're back in the 60Ks all over again. Okay? So yeah, that's my thoughts on Bitcoin right there, and why I'm looking for longs and shorts right now, because we jumped up today. I'm looking for some shorts right now. However, I am in a long right now because I know like Bitcoin might get another couple of good days and get up to like 75K. So I would like to take advantage of that if Bitcoin is going to go up to 75K. Let's see. Paul says, what is my strategy? What are my thoughts on Microsoft? I'm sorry, not Microsoft. MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy, I would stay away from MicroStrategy as a stock market investor. There's better ways to invest in Bitcoin than MicroStrategy. Okay. If you just want exposure to Bitcoin, I would suggest just doing a Bitcoin ETF and be done with it. But MicroStrategy, the problem with MicroStrategy or investing in MicroStrategy is that they will sell their stock to buy more Bitcoin when the price of Bitcoin goes up and their stock is going up. Because they bought Bitcoin, that also affects their stock price and causes their stock price to go up when Bitcoin goes up. But then when Bitcoin is going up and their stock price is going up, they sell their stock, dilute their shares and the shareholders, and then they buy more Bitcoin with it. So like, I don't know if you want to be invested in the stock. You might as well just buy Bitcoin, because if MicroStrategy is going to buy Bitcoin, then you might as well just buy Bitcoin. Why buy MicroStrategy? Go buy Bitcoin. Okay? Beat them to the punch. Right now, MicroStrategy is like, they're kind of heavy in debt. They're like strapped in debt right now. So they're not able to buy Bitcoin, but you can buy Bitcoin, and you can do that with the Bitcoin ETF if that's what you want to do it. If you want to do it on the stock market, you could do the, the IBIT, right, is the BlackRock ETF. And then there's also Fidelity has a Bitcoin ETF. So I would do those instead of MicroStrategy. That's my opinions on MicroStrategy. Let's see. Hizza says, have you seen the weekly Bitcoin RSI? Very interesting. It finally goes to 30. Last time it did that was at 20K. Yeah, I think I've seen that. I saw someone post in my Discord, a guy that was talking about Bitcoin's weekly RSI. Although they didn't really say if they were looking at the weekly chart, but like I looked at it myself and I was like, this guy kind of looks like he's on the weekly chart. So let me just show that here to you guys here, what this guy was talking about. Let me just clean this thing up here a little bit. All right. So we're looking at the weekly RSI for Bitcoin. And you can see that the RSI on the weekly came down to 29.15. The last time we got down to that area was in June of 2022 when we had a weekly RSI of like 25, and Bitcoin was at like $18,000. So yeah, you're right. You know, last time Bitcoin was oversold like it is right now was when Bitcoin was at 22K. Okay. Let's see, any other levels I can see here? We actually seen here in December of 2018 Bitcoin with an RSI like 29, and the price of Bitcoin was at $3 grand. So yeah, I think that's what some people are talking about. Like Bitcoin is oversold here, and you know, maybe now's a good time to buy Bitcoin at these prices here. All right, but the thing is, like, we could continue being oversold. We could be oversold going into next week, and then the week after that. All right, and we can even go even further into oversold territory. So we just don't know yet. And if we get oversold going into next week or the week after that, and we go even deeper than what we did this week, then what does that put the price of Bitcoin at? Do we see, you know, $50,000 Bitcoin or $40,000 Bitcoin? I already said I'm more interested in $50,000 Bitcoin and $43,000 Bitcoin than I am 60. But 60 is where it starts to get interesting, because $60,000 Bitcoin means you can buy Bitcoin at 60 grand. And if we go back to all-time highs of 120 grand, like we saw in October of last year, then you're going to double your money by buying Bitcoin at 60 grand. And then going up to 120 grand, you'll double your money if you're able to buy at that price and sell at 120. I see that we have DZ. I think my friend Baby Toshi is in the chat. DZ says THQ, please. And he says, am I going to be watching the Super Bowl? Of course, man. The Patriots are playing in the Super Bowl. I am a New England Patriot fan. Of course I'm going to be watching the Super Bowl. You know, I just hope that, you know, Daddy Yankee wins. I mean, I hope that Bad Bunny wins the Super Bowl, right? Isn't that what the Super Bowl's all about? I'm going to be rooting for Bad Bunny. I hope he wins. I kind of messed up the joke by saying Daddy Yankee, but you know what I mean. I mean, is that who Bad Bunny's facing? Bad Bunny's facing Daddy Yankee, right? Isn't that what the Super Bowl's all about? A couple of musicians. Oh, and then there's like a football game or something going on at the same time. Alright, let me write this down. THQ. Alright. Yeah, I'm really hoping that Bad Bunny wins the Super Bowl. No, actually, I am a New England Patriots fan, so I'm hoping that they win. Meme Machine says, go Pats! And then RJ says, 260K within 3 years for Bitcoin? That'd be interesting. That'd be like a triple from where we are right now, right? Yeah. Be a 3x right now. Let's see. Is definitely good, no guarantee RSI can go lower. So there was a guy that put a request in earlier about Beam Nuclear. Alright, yeah, you did say Beam Nuclear. So, THQ, there's a guy that put a request here on TikTok before you came in. I'm going to look at Beam Nuclear first, and then I'll look at THQ after that. Thank you, Bull King, for following me here on TikTok. I see you. And let's see. Just trying to see if I don't want to miss any other comments. Thank you, D2 Miami, for sharing the live. Guys, if you go ahead and double tap your screen to let TikTok know that we have a good live stream here. That sends a like. It's free. You don't have to pay anything for that like. And then same thing for my YouTube guys here. I'm doing a YouTube live stream as well. Guys, don't forget to smash that like button if you haven't done so already. And share the live stream if you have any other friends or family that are interested in crypto or want to know what the hell's going on with Bitcoin. You know, go ahead and share the live stream here. We try to do some good analysis here with the chats here. We can always go back to Bitcoin, but let's look at Beam Nuclear from my buddy here. And what is the ticker symbol for Beam Nuclear? And I'm literally typing the name of it, and I don't think I see anything showing up here. Is Beam Nuclear a cryptocurrency or a stock? I have to ask that, because if you give me something I don't really know much about, I gotta ask you, like, where can I find it? Is it a stock or a crypto? I'm trying to go back to the comments here. Look at Beam Leora Nuclear. Leora. I feel like I would have heard about it if it was a stock, and it would have showed up as soon as I typed it in. Is this a cryptocurrency? I'm gonna type in Beam USD and see what comes up with that. So there is a Beam USD cryptocurrency. Is that what you're asking for here? And sure enough, I don't even know if the guy's even in the chat anymore. But we'll take a look at Beam USD. Since I'm not getting any clarification from you and I can't find it as a stock, I do want to honor your request by looking at it. So here we go. We're going to look at Beam USD on Coinbase here. We'll go into the daily time frame here. Looks like it's a relatively new cryptocurrency on Coinbase. Maybe there might be more data on another exchange here. Just give me a second here. Let's see what Beam USD looks like here on MEXC. So this is what Beam USD looks like on MEXC. It's currently trading at 2 pennies, 0.023 pennies, up 4%. I got a lot more data here from MEXC because usually MEXC gets cryptocurrencies first before Coinbase lists it on their exchange. And let me just turn the music down. I feel like the music might be a little bit too loud here. Yeah, let me just turn it down there for a second here. Anyways, Beam USD, what do we got here? You are on the daily time frame. You are below all your moving averages. You are bearish on Beam. Okay, I cannot be bullish on Beam until it gets above this red line here, this 200-day moving average, which looks like it's sitting at this number here, 3 cents, 0.031 pennies. You do that, and I can flip bullish again on Beam. But right now, I'm expecting any temporary bullishness to get rejected. If we're going to be temporarily bullish here on Beam and we climb up to this 21 EMA at 2.5 cents, I'm expecting this to get rejected at 2.5 cents and come back down again. Okay? Unless we do something different where we actually get above the 21 EMA. We did see something like that here in January when we had that little relief rally in cryptocurrency. We did see Beams climb up above the 21 EMA and also above the 200 and the 50. And then it just wasn't good enough. We stayed above the 50, it looks like, for about a couple of days here. Let me get rid of this here. We stayed above the 50 for a couple of days here. Okay, and then we came back down, and then we lost the 200. You back tested the 200 like once, twice, 3 times here. You just couldn't do it. It wasn't good enough, and now we're still in a downtrend here on Beam. All right. Does Beam have the momentum to climb up to higher prices? Let's look at the MACD, see if there's anything going on there. Okay, on the MACD, sure enough, there's selling pressure that brought you down. Selling pressure is slowly dying off. Okay, what I want to see is I want to see this blue line curve up and actually curve up and get over the orange line for a MACD crossover. The last time you had a MACD crossover to the upside was like right here in the beginning of January, and we know January was a good month for Beam. I want to see that for Beam going into like February or March, where we get a MACD crossover to the upside. Okay, so you're working on trying to do some positive things here on Beam, but you just got to keep on putting in that hard work. All right, and then as far as like Market Cipher B goes, Market Cipher B shows that you are in red negative territory. Okay, on money flow. I want to see this money flow start curving back up, and I want to see money flow get into the green again to see this go with the higher prices. Right now, money flow is still kind of like a caution light. And then you also got this red sell dot here that just came in yesterday. So right now you need to see a green buy dot. You see a green buy dot, you can buy Beam, hoping that it's going to go up to higher prices. And then you want to see the money flow climb up to higher levels here as well. Right now, money flow is in the red. Not like it was here in January when it was in the green. Okay, so let's see some green here for Beam, and then you'll see some higher prices. And I think higher prices, like I said, you got to get up to 21 EMA, 2.5 cents, and then maybe 3 cents will be your next target after that. All right, moving on from Beam, let's take a look at THQ from my buddy DZ. Sometimes he goes by the name of Baby Toshi. THQ, I think we looked at this yesterday, but we'll look at it again, see what's going on. THQ currently trading at a little bit above 2.5 cents at 0.027 pennies, up 7% today. And THQ, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're in a downtrend still, right? Lower high here in the off the 21 EMA, and you're still making lower lows here. I guess you could probably plot this as a falling wedge, and you know, if it's a falling wedge, usually it will break out to the upside. Okay. But just when will you do that? Well, today you're kind of creating a case to try to break out to the upside. We just gotta see some more green candles here, right? Let me just see if I can kind of plot out the falling wedge here. But you got yourself a falling wedge here on THQ. Okay. And the idea with the falling wedge is if you just measure from like the base to the top of the base of the triangle here, it gives you a measured move where if you were to break out right now on THQ, your breakout move could put you back at like this blue number, 0.039 pennies, or basically like 4 cents. But we shall see. That's an idea. Doesn't mean it's going to actually do that. You know, THQ could just do something kind of like weak here, go up, go down, and just go sideways before it then goes up. All right. There's nothing that guarantees that it's actually going to go, you know, do a V-shaped recovery and get out of these lows that it's in right now. But that's just an idea. We shall see. We shall see if THQ can actually go up to higher prices here. I want to see THQ go up to like, you know, that 3 or 4 cent level. But I also want to see it get above the highs here on January 26th when you were at like 4.5 cents roughly. Okay. Do that, and then you start making a case that if you can get above this last high here, you're making possibly higher highs and higher lows to create an uptrend on THQ. But you're not getting that just yet. So ask me about this again some other time, DZ. We'll see if we actually break out of the falling wedge to the upside, and we'll see if it's going to be a sharp V-shaped recovery, or is it going to be something like a flat, you know, sideways recovery before we then go up. Thank you, Mark, for telling me that I'm killing it over here, bro. Appreciate that. Meme Machine says, time to buy. Tycho says, let's go Bitcoin. And thank you, Leo, for following me here on TikTok. Let's see. HZ Pakistan says, Bitcoin $1 million by 2030. All right, guys, you just heard it from HZA Pakistan. You need to buy Bitcoin right now because Bitcoin is going to $1 million by 2030. Don't miss out. He says... Someone else says that no, Bitcoin will go to 260K by 2030. Hey, you know, I'm happy with either one of those numbers. You know, 1 million sounds better than 260, but 260 also sounds good too, because that'll be like a 3x from where we are right now. Edible Zombies in the chat here on YouTube. Edible Zombie says, XRP, you bought the dip at $1.14. Wow, congratulations. I believe XRP is doing pretty well. You want me to take a look at XRP? I could take a look at XRP. I know there's a lot of people out there that also want to look at XRP as well, so don't feel bad about asking for it again. I know XRP is actually having one of the better days out of all the altcoins here, especially the high market cryptocurrencies. XRP is currently trading at $1.45 right now. It's up 19.9%, almost 20%. Here on the daily time frame, you know, we did mark that $1.11 was an area of interest here for XRP. And we came right down to $1.11 yesterday. And the reason why I chose $1.11 was, well, I didn't choose it. The charts chose it for me. If I turn on the VRVP indicator here, you're going to see that there is a relatively high volume here at $1.11. And I marked that on the chart yesterday. I think I did that right on the chart with you guys. Okay? So you guys could see it. You can look at the replay of yesterday's live stream. where we talked about XRP. But $1.11 is also a level that we were trading at here back in November of 2024. Right after Donald Trump got elected, we kind of went sideways there for a little bit. So these are the people that saved your butts yesterday. All right, these people that bought XRP at $1.10, $1.11, you know, they held on to it for this long, for about almost 2 years. And they're not going to click the sell button unless we lose $1.11. And we didn't. Okay, we didn't lose $1.11, so there was less selling pressure at that level there. And that's why we kind of like, you know, we did a little wick down there. We tried to go down there and scare those people, but we didn't scare them enough. And now XRP is bouncing up to higher prices here. Okay. And now that we're bouncing up to higher prices here, we do have a high volume node here at $1.60. That could be a tough area for XRP to climb above. And then if we're going to continue being bullish past that, there's something here at $1.75. And then there's also a high volume node here at $1.86. This blue line is your point of control, the POC here. That is where I think you should consider taking some profit if you haven't done so. You bought at $1.14. I'm not sure when you plan on selling, but if it's just a short-term trade here and you see $1.86, I would try to take some profit at $1.86 here. Okay. But also, probably the value area low at $1.64. Another good area to try to take some profit. And also, there's a high volume node here at like $1.60. So I think when we get to $1.60, if you're in it for the short term and you're just trying to, you know, cash out on some quick, you know, fast money here, I would take some profit at $1.60 for XRP. Axel310 says Patriot's supposed to jump 400%. What is Patriot? Is that a cryptocurrency? And then Professor says, Damien, what's that volume thing on the right thing, the blue one? All right, so yeah, this is the VRP indicator. It's the visual range volume profile indicator. If I go into indicators here on TradingView and I type in VRVP, that's the indicator that I'm using right now, the visual range volume profile. It gives me all the data here, and it shows me like where the buys and sells are. The green is the buys, the red or the magenta is the sells, and you add them all together and you get these volume nodes here that shows you like where price action was pretty significant. So right now $1.60 is looking like it's right above us. That's going to be probably resistance because it's above us. And then here the highest volume node is highlighted with this blue line. This blue line is called the point of control, the POC. And that is showing that majority of people over the last, since, you know, the beginning of December of last year, the majority of people bought XRP at $1.86. So that's an area where you might want to take some profit, right? Because you see, like, you know, there's some people that were buying here in December, right before Christmas, and then a little bit after Christmas. They were buying XRP at $1.86, $1.87. But the VRVP indicator kind of shows you that as well. Makes things a little bit easier to read. But, you know, if you didn't have this, you know, you would probably make a guess that, all right, when we get up to this area, this should be your support resistance area right here at $1.86. But the VRVP indicator just confirms that with that blue line right there. Edible Zombie says, never sell. Oh, no. Edible Zombies, you sound just like my other buddy who owns XRP. You know, XRP got up to like, I think like $3. Let's see if I zoom out. It got up to like some high price in like January of 2025, right? Yeah, I think, yeah, like around here. It got up to like $3.28, and my buddy, I was like, man, what are we gonna do like after Donald Trump gets inaugurated? Like, what's gonna be the next catalyst? Is what I asked my buddy, and I said I'm a bit worried that like we might have a sell-off, and we did. But at the time, my buddy's like, never sell your crypto, never sell XRP. And that was like actually the best time to sell XRP, was when he told me never to sell XRP. Because sure enough, you know, there was some disappointment about us not getting a Bitcoin strategic reserve and then not getting a crypto strategic reserve. And then, you know, then Trump did the tariffs in like March and April, and that kind of like dragged the price down a little bit. And it wasn't until like we had that crypto bill, the stablecoin bill, come out in like July that XRP start shooting back up again, up to $3 again. And I'm pretty sure when it was at $3, my buddy would have said never sell your XRP. But man, I don't know. If you never sell your XRP, when are you gonna sell? Are you just gonna like use it as collateral and take out a loan against it? Because I think that's it. How else do you make money off XRP if you're never gonna sell it? Right? I don't know. You tell me. Let's see. Mark says never sell at the top, hodl till the drop. You're funny, Mark. No, I mean, you gotta realize your gains at some point by selling, unless you're one of those sophisticated people that, you know, takes out a loan on your crypto and you don't sell your crypto, but you use it as collateral for your loan that you're taking out. That's the only way I could think you could get away with not selling your crypto and still benefit from it. Because if you don't sell it, then how do you buy a boat? How do you buy a car? How do you buy a house if you don't sell your crypto? Thank you, Capri, for following me here on TikTok. Thank you, J Cool, for following on TikTok. And you know, I'm giving my buddy a hard time, but I think he would agree that you could sell your XRP to buy a house, because that would be a good long-term investment. So that's probably the only time he would tell me to sell the XRP. All right. You guys have any other requests besides XRP here? Axel said something about Patreon. I don't know if that was a request. D says the market was good as F today. Yes, it was. Let's see. God's Cowboy says Epstein is Bitcoin. Wake up. Oh my God. The proof's out. How? How is... who made that connection? That someone was trying to say that Jeffrey Epstein is actually Satoshi Nakamoto himself. And it's like... how? Where are the connections? Because from what I know with Satoshi Nakamoto, he was like emailing people back and forth. He was emailing other computer programmers, and then he disappeared like sometime in like the end of 2009, or actually no, he created in 2009, 2010. But he disappeared like in like 2010 or something after like the last emails that he did. And I'm assuming it's a guy, but it could be a corporation, could be an organization. Some people say, you know, Satoshi Nakamoto could be the CIA. The CIA created it. Some of the guys that actually worked on Bitcoin besides Satoshi Nakamoto, they did work for the CIA. So that's where the CIA connection comes from. So like no one knows. No one knows. And it should be, and that's the way it's gonna be. No one knows. People want to talk about Epstein because it's in the news, but like it has nothing to do with Bitcoin until you make that actual solid proof connection. I don't believe you. Martin says, which trading app am I using? So right now I'm looking at these coins here on tradingview.com, but I like to make trades here on WEEX exchange. Let me go ahead to WEEX, show you WEEX. This is where I do my leverage trading and futures trading at. I'm a little bit curious how are my positions doing right now. I got Lin. Lin is up 40% right now. Oh, and Bitcoin is taking a loss. Ooh, man, Bitcoin, what are you doing? I took a big hit on this Bitcoin. Let's see, Bitcoin is wait a minute. Is Bitcoin really at 65K? Or is that an error? Yeah, that's gotta be an error. Oh my God, I gotta refresh the page here. That looks horrendous. I could have sworn last time it was in the green. Oh man, I have to log in. They're gonna make me log in, and yeah. Oh wait, here we go. Never mind. There we go. Much better. Okay, so there it is. I'm in a Lin position. I'm up 186%. That sounds a lot better, a lot more truer to what I was looking at last time. I'm up 186% on my Lin position here. Up only 4% on my Bitcoin long. I got in at 69,974. It's only a 10x leverage long. Too crazy. And then I try to get into a long here on rats, which I thought was going to be a good position because we already had a drop in rats. Let's look at the rats on the 1 hour time frame here. But we've already had a drop here on rats. And I'm just hoping that you know, the bottom is coming in. We got a possible double bottom here, which could also end up like a triple bottom here. And my stop loss is right below this candlewick low here at 0.049. But let me zoom into the daily time frame. Rats, what is rats? Rats had a nice little upswing here and then we had a little bit of a downdraft, and I think we might be getting a bounce, especially if Bitcoin's gonna be bullish here. I think rats should start swinging back up here again to higher prices. But it's just an idea, and if I get stopped out, I get stopped out. Right now, let's look back at Bitcoin again. Bitcoin trading at 70,300. It's good to see, right? But you know what I'm worried about with Bitcoin is this 4-hour time frame, 21 EMA exponential moving average could cause a rejection here. Right now, we're having a hard time getting past this white line. You see, it's acting as like a bully, pushing us back into the locker here. Okay, pushing us back down to lower prices. If we can get past this 21 EMA, then maybe we can jump up to this 50 moving average at 82K, okay, on the 4-hour time frame. But I think if we get past this 21 EMA, I think the next one is on the 8-hour time frame. There's an 8-hour 21 EMA at like $75,000. I think that could also act as resistance if we're able to push up to those higher prices. Thank you, Pax Pill, for following me here on TikTok. Thank you, Sheet5, for following me here on TikTok. Mark says RXRX. He wants to look at RXRX. Okay, I got you, Mark. Let's go ahead and look at RXRX. Recursion Pharmaceuticals on the NASDAQ. I'm going to get into the daily time frame unless you want me to look at it on the smaller time frames here. RXRX currently trading at $3.98, up 11% today. That's a good day. But it had a good day after having a few bad days here. Looks like you had a couple of bad weeks here, just like cryptocurrencies did. You topped out here January 22nd at $5.24. Got above some of these moving averages. You actually got above the 200-day moving average, but you couldn't even stay above it for one day. You didn't even close above it. The 200-day moving average, this red line, sitting at like $5.01. Yeah, you couldn't stay above it. That's a problem. You know, that's still a problem. I can't be bullish on an asset until you get above the 200-day moving average. Anything below it is just noise and possibly going to be bearish. Possibly a failed setup. Like I need to see us get above the 200-day moving average for me to be bullish on this asset. But let me zoom out. Oh man, what is this thing doing? You're kind of going down and to the right. How do you make money on the stock if you're going down over time? You're going down and to the right, down and to the right. You've been in a downtrend since... Well, when have you been in an uptrend? Damn, this thing has been even higher. The highest price was like back here in July of 2021 at 41 bucks. This looks like one of these altcoins and meme coins. You know, you've seen that your best days in the beginning, and now you're just an old man who could never see those gains again. You've seen your best days were your early days. Jesus. I mean, you could make money by shorting this because you know it's gonna just continue going down and to the right. But where would you short it at? Well, it looks like every time you get above the 200-day moving average, it's a problem. This red line here is a problem. Yeah, you might spend a day or two above it. But what I would do, you know, like back here, had I known like 200-day movement was going to be a problem, I would just short here, put the stop loss above the candle wicks above, and you don't have to worry about getting stopped out because you never actually went back up to those candle wicks. You came down here some more. All right, same thing over here. You get above the 200-day moving average, time to look for a short. Put the stop loss above the highest high. In this case, like $7.18, and then continue shorting it. I don't think they do individual futures for stocks here, but you could short it by doing put options, right? That's what I would be looking for. I'd be looking for put options on this stock here. And right now, if we were to get above the 200-day moving average, you have to get above $4.97. That's where the red line's at. You know, you could go up to like $5.30 or $5.50 and be there temporarily. So just, you know, I wouldn't really look for 497 as like, oh, that's when I need a short. What you want to see is like, you know, how long do you stay above? What are the highs here on this stock? Next time you get above the 200-day moving average, and then maybe wait a couple of days and then short it after you get above the 200-day moving average. Put your stop loss above the high. All right, and then, well, I mean, you can't really do stop losses with put options. You would just have to accept the fact that, you know, the thing, if it does climb up to like $6, you're probably gonna your puts are gonna expire worthless. But yeah, I mean, maybe look for, you know, like a put at like $5.50 or $6 when it does get up to like, you know, $5.50 or whatever, $5.30, $5.20, and then try to short this thing back down again. And then where would you take profit on a short on this asset? Well, you could see if it comes back down to the 21 EMA. Usually the 21 EMA is where this thing will come back down to. Or you can just try to maybe take profit at, you know, near the last lower low that it made. In this case, it was $3.54. You know what I mean? Like, this is how I would, you know, try to game plan this out, right? Okay, so you could probably play options on this one, right? Where you can actually long right now, because maybe this is the bottom. And maybe 350 is it never goes below 350 again, and you just do a long, do options, do a call option, see if this thing gets up to $5, take profit on your call option. Then when it gets to like 530, take out a put option, either at like 530 or 550, and then watch this thing, you know, roll over and die off a little bit. And then as you get down to this this low here, take profit on your put option. I mean, granted, it could go further. So maybe you have more than one put option. Maybe you have like 2 put options where you take profit here and then see if you can ride this thing down to lower prices and then take profit again at like 250 on the put option. I don't know. It's just an idea. I'm just throwing it out there. I used to trade options back in the day, but I don't do it anymore. Most of my money is trading futures with crypto and trading commodity futures. So I don't really trade options like that, but that's what I would do if I was to get back into it again. I actually just long-term invest in stocks. I don't actually trade stocks like I trade crypto. But that's how I would do it if I was only invested in stocks and stock options. I would, you know, buy a call option here, take profit on the call option. Sell a put option here, take profit on the put option over here, take some more profit at lower prices. Mark says this is a long-term hold. Okay, all right. Why are you long-term holding? What kind of what product do they actually sell that you might want to stick around to find out if it does well or not? Let's take a look at the description here for Recursion Pharmaceuticals. It says it's a clinical stage biotech company that combines automation, AI, machine learning, and in vivo validation capabilities to discover novel medicines. Its Recursion operating system enables advanced machine learning approaches to reveal drug candidates. Company was founded in November of 2013, and it's headquartered in Utah. So this is kind of like buying like Moderna, or like, you know, buying maybe like Pfizer, maybe, but like Pfizer already has like well-established working medicines themselves. This is kind of like buying Moderna before Moderna maybe you know, came out with a medicine for the COVID-19. This is a very risky stock. How much market cap does it have? About $2 billion of market cap. I don't know if that's normal or not, but if it was like less than $1 billion, I'd be like, this is very risky. Do they already have, like, are they already making revenue? Are they making products? I'm on the monthly time frame. I don't see any earnings report. All right, there's some earnings reports right here. All right, the last earnings report. Let's see. Their revenue was only $4 million, $5 million and they're expecting to make 16 million. How are you a $2 billion company and you're only making like $5 million every 3 months? That's kind of like ridiculous. I don't think they deserve to be that high of a price. But I know, like, if they do find, like, you know, a really good medicine, and I'm not sure what medicines they're working on, maybe you know, because you did your research, but they're only making like $5 million, so they're making some money, but they're not making like enough to justify $2 billion of market cap. So I think that's why they're slowly bleeding off until they hit that home run. You're just waiting for that home run. When they hit that home run, then maybe they become a $10 billion company and you end up, you know, 5xing or 3xing your money here. Valve is in the chat here. He says, Meet Damien coin ain't doing as well. Well, wait. There is no Meet Damien coin. You made a Did you make a Meet Damien coin? Is there a Meet Damien coin out there? That'd be funny if you guys did that, because I didn't make a Meet Damien coin. Is that something I could find on Deck Screener, maybe? I'm not actually going to go on Deck Screener, because if I go on Deck Screener, I'll get in trouble with TikTok. TikTok doesn't like it when I do that. Jay, I am trading with my own money, yes. Bernardo GZ says, do you see Solana at 50? At $50? Damn, that's gonna hurt. Can Solana go down to $50 is what you're basically asking me. Mark says Nvidia owns Recursion Pharmaceuticals. That's crazy. Why is a technology company? I don't know, I would do more research. You obviously know more than I do because you're invested in it. But why is a semiconductor company invested in pharmaceuticals? That just kind of blows my mind away a little bit there. What is Nvidia trying to do? You know, it's that kind of crazy stuff. When you start getting away from what actually made you successful and you start doing crazy stuff like, all right, we are a technology company and we're now going to invest in making medicine for people. It's like, what? So what? Are you a technology company or are you a pharmaceutical company? And it's like, how did you guys become experts in medicine? And then it's like, all right, so like, are you guys a conglomerate now? Because that's what a conglomerate does. They just buy, like, you know, certain businesses that are not even related to each other, and they just collect the revenue from each business. Oh, Ansval, yeah, I think we did joke about making a Meet Damien coin here. But, nah, I'm not really interested in doing that myself or putting in the time and effort. But that would be funny. Maybe one day when I got more time and I want to put more effort, I'll actually do a Meet Damien coin. For shits and giggles, not to actually make money. But if you guys are able to make money off of it, that'd be cool. Alright, let's look at Solana, because that's something that somebody's asking here. Like, is Solana going to go to $50? I did mark on the charts using the VRVP indicator. I'm going to zoom out here. And we're just going to, you know, look at the history here with Solana. You know, Solana get up to like 290 bucks here in January 2025. That was pretty cool to see. Some levels to look for Solana. I did mark off 74 bucks, which we already came down to, what, yesterday? What did we do yesterday? We came down to like $67. Oh my god. Oh my god. I actually own Solana. So like there was a time, I don't know if I should put this information out there like that. I had like 300 Solanas at one point. Yeah. I had like 300 Solanas. I don't have those Solanas anymore. I sold them. And I sold most of my Solana when it was at like 200 bucks. Thank God. Now that Solana's at $88. I would have took a 50% haircut. But damn, seeing that 67 bucks, that's crazy. There's another level to look out below if Solana was to continue being bearish here. There's a $57 level. And $57 is where Solana was trading at back here, right here in November of 2023. November 2023, these people will come and save your butt here from Solana going lower. So yeah, I think Solana, if not 74 bucks, which is another level that we were trading at sideways here, then $57 is where Solana could go next. So it's a possibility, yeah. We could see Solana go down to like 57. Maybe it does, you know, wick itself down to like 50 bucks. But like, how did I pull up these numbers? Besides looking left and looking at the sideways trading action here, you know, if I pull up the VRVP indicator, which I'm going to show you guys here right now, the VRVP indicator is showing the levels to look for on Solana. You got these. Oh wait, where did it go? I just lost it there. Yeah, you got the high volume nodes here at like 56, 57 bucks is an area to be looking out for, and then also $74. I marked this off on the charts, that way when I don't have the indicator on, I can still see it even if I turn the indicator off. I know those are some important levels to be looking for Solana. Hey, come on, what is TikTok doing here now? Nasir says you have a buy limit order for 63. Is that for Solana? You're interested in buying Solana at $63? Looks like you almost had it. Almost had it last night, maybe. We came down to like 67.48 on Solana. Now Solana's at 88 bucks. Crazy. How much of a percentage gain is that? Like, if you were able to buy the lows last night on Solana, and now here we are at like 88 bucks. That's, oh my god, Solana did a 30% move in less than 1 day. Intraday. Intraday price action. Solana was down at 67 bucks, comes back up to 88 bucks, up 30%. If you're able to capture that whole move right there. That is insane that I can do that in 1 day. Soldier Boy, follow me here on TikTok. Welcome to the Meet Damien community here, Soldier Boy. And let's see, Nasir said there was a lot of liquidity that was sitting at that level. I believe you. Did you go on like CoinGlass to find out that liquidity level? Maybe I can find that here with you. If I can pull it up real quick here. Let's see. Bitcoin heat map, liquidations, liquidation heat map. Usually I do the liquidation heat map and I look at Bitcoin. Let me see if I can find Solana on here. Do we have Solana? Oh no, it sounds like I lost my music. I have to turn the music back on again. Let me see if I type in Sol. Ooh, here it is on Binance, Solana Perpetuals. No, I don't want to be logged in. Are they not going to let me look at it because I'm not logged in to CoinGlass? That sucks. I don't think they're going to let me look at it because I don't have an account here with CoinGlass. But that's interesting that you were able to pull up the liquidation levels, and that's why you chose that level there. All right, let me go ahead and reset the music. Kind of lost my music here. Mark says, you gotta love crypto. Yeah, that's the craziness in crypto. We can go up and down 30% intraday price action. Let's look at the cryptocurrencies that I'm trying to get into. I am in a trying to long rats right now, and let's see. Am I up on rats? No, I'm actually down on rats. Up on Bitcoin, and I'm up on my Lin long here. But rats, I recently took this position earlier this afternoon or this morning. Got in at 5092. Right now we're at 503. And let's just look at rats here on TradingView to see like why I was interested in it for a potential long here. Let's see, rats on MEXC exchange, sure. Okay. So rats has come down to the 21 EMA. It is in a uptrend where you're making higher lows, as well as making higher highs, Kind of didn't make a lower high here, so that's an issue. That's a problem. But I measured Fibonacci from like 66.97 down to like 38.62, and we did hit a 0.382 retracement at 49.45. That's kind of like where we're hanging out right now, just above that 49.45 level there, the 0.382 retracement. So we already did a deep retracement. If we were to do a deeper retracement, well, I'll get stopped out if we hit 0.49. But if we were to do a deeper retracement, you would think that this thing would probably come down to the 0.236 level at 45.31. And that's probably where this 50-day moving average is also going to give us a little bit of support. So, you know, maybe if I can't long it here, maybe I can try longing again at 45 if I'm, you know, interested in getting back into it again. Looking at the momentum indicators here on the daily time frame, money flow is in the green. You do have a red sell dot here, but that doesn't mean that this thing can't still go up in price a couple of days from now. You know, going into tomorrow or the next day. And all I need is for this thing, you know, what I was targeting for take profit is I'm just targeting 0.06. So I'm trying to target to see if we can get back up to the 786 retracement. But I will take partial profit once we climb up to like 5,300 and then 5,600, and then I'll take the third take profit at that 6,000 level there. But going back into those momentum indicators here, daily time frame showing that things might be, you know, coming to an end here. I just need to just have one more hoorah going into tomorrow, and I'll probably cash out. Over here in the MACD crossover to the downside. All right, so maybe long-term time frames, this thing doesn't look so great. Okay. Maybe I will get stopped out on that long. It was just an idea here. But I think what I was looking at like the 1 hour time frame and kind of liking what I was seeing here. On the 1 hour time frame, you know, like I've already bought, you know, I was looking at this possible triple bottom. You know, you got a candle wick low here, candle wick low here, and then a candle wick low here. And then also, I was looking at possibly potential bullish divergence. Maybe I was trying to force it a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, 1 hour time frame. Selling pressure is still pretty steep here. Maybe I got into the trade a little bit too early. But if we see some buying pressure show up, you know, all we need is that selling pressure to die off a little bit. So this is a very risky, aggressive trade that I took here on Rats. It could still possibly go down to lower prices, and it looks like it kind of does want to do that right now. That sucks. I think I was looking at it like around this time. Like early this morning, I saw like the selling pressure was dying off. I saw buying pressure coming in on the 1 hour time frame, and that's when I got in. But now it looks like the buying pressure is dying off and the sell pressure is dying off, so this thing is probably going to stop me out. That sucks. It might even do that right now. Are you guys taking positions against me right now? Is that what's going on? You're like, oh, Damien's at a long on Rats. Let's go ahead and short the hell out of it. Is that what you guys doing to me right now? George Lacker says, Cinex is the next big meme coin. Okay. But yeah, this thing was looking a little bit better this early morning and afternoon when it was trying to climb back up. Now it's like, oh, what the hell happened here at 12 o'clock? And then boom, right here. So yeah, I'm probably gonna get stopped out if I don't take the loss right now. I'm probably gonna get stopped out. So that's unfortunate. Right now, oh yeah, Rats down 25%, down 28 bucks. This thing was in the green earlier today for me. So that kind of sucks. Bitcoin long still doing good. Lin long still doing good here. Damn. Let me look at the 15-minute time frame. Is there any hope here? Or are we just doing a nosedive down to my stop loss here? Market cipher B shows that money flow. Yeah, so like earlier this afternoon and this one, like the money flow was increasing, and then it started decreasing just probably as soon as I went live with you guys here. This thing just did a turn for the worse here. Same thing, like, you know, the selling pressure was starting to die down, and you would think that, hey, you know, all we gotta do is get some buying pressure going on here. Nope. Then the selling pressure starts increasing again. So, that's unfortunate. Yeah, so, you know, I'm probably gonna get stopped out. If I get stopped out, how much will I lose on that trade? You know, with this real money at work, probably, I think it was at like 50 bucks. The stop loss. I'll lose $43. I'll lose $43. If I get stopped out, I'll be down 37%. If we drop down to 0.049 here on rats. That sucks. Let me just refresh this here. And we're like a little bit more than halfway down to stopping me out there on rats. That sucks. It was looking so much better earlier today. But you know, that's trading for you. You're not gonna win them all. But hopefully, you know, if you keep your losses small than the gains that you get, you will still be profitable. You will still be profitable. I still got Bitcoin long and a Lin long to save the day for me, as rats decides to just, you know, turn out to be a bad idea for now. All right, so there you go. Damien doesn't win them all. There you go. Showing you a little bit of honest humility here, that I don't win every single trade, but you saw right now I'm currently winning 2 other trades. So what is that? 2 out of 3. That's 66% win rate. 66% win rate. What percentage of the stop loss? So with that rats trade, I think it was like 10x leverage. So let's go back into it again. You want to answer that question there? Yeah, 10x leverage with rats. The stop loss altogether would be about 37% loss. So it's probably like a 3.7% loss on the charts. But because with 10x leverage, it ends up being 37%. And I put like how much? Like $100 a margin here. Yeah, I put like $125 a margin there. So let's just measure that out. Like I was trying to, I got in at like 509. Let's measure this out, right? So I got in like around like 509, somewhere like right around here. And my stop loss is at 0.049. So here you go. Yeah, there's like a 3.7% stop loss. And I was trying to target 6,000 as my take profit. So I was risking 3.6% to try and get 17%. Risk reward ratio is like 4.8. You know, with 10x leverage, I'm risking 36% to try and get 170% gain. I go back into that again. If I look at the take profit, you know, if this trade was to play out in my favor, I'll be up 178%, and I'll be able to take home 204 bucks. So there you go. But you know, I'm risking like 40 bucks here to try and make 200 bucks. I'll lose 40 bucks on the stop loss, but my take profit, if it wins, I can make 200 bucks. Those are trades I like taking all day, every day. Nasir says, yesterday I had the most viewers. Yeah, you know, it's a little bit of, you know, people are worried about, you know, crypto. So they want to know what the hell's going on. So you probably get like people who normally wouldn't go on TikTok. They're probably too busy, you know, watching, you know, cat videos and dog videos. They decide to look at crypto because they see Bitcoin dropping like $60,000, and then they want to start looking at crypto. So there was probably a little bit of that. And now that, you know, Bitcoin looks like it's doing all right, back at 70K, people aren't really worried about cryptocurrencies anymore. So, you know, that's what ends up happening. One of my best live streams wasn't even yesterday's live stream. I had a live stream, at least, you know, during YouTube, when I was on YouTube. I had a live stream on YouTube that got me like 1,600 views, when normally I get like around like 50 or 100. And I had like 80 people in the chat, and this was like when Bitcoin hit like $108,000, but then it dropped down to like 90K later on that week. And no one was watching my live streams when Bitcoin was at 108K. They all came onto the live stream when Bitcoin was at 92K and dropping. And they're like, yo, what the hell happened to Bitcoin? We're down like 15, 20%. I thought this thing was going up to 200K. And that's when people showed up to my live stream. So yeah, sometimes having a really bad day is actually really good to go on a live stream. Start streaming when people are panicking. Nasir says the narrative is for gold and silver now. Probably. Yeah, probably. Mark says maybe too early. Nasir says, alright. Capri says Solana chart. We actually looked at Solana not too long ago. Solana, I think, is doing alright. I didn't look at the upside targets here. Well, let's see the 4-hour time frame, guys. I bet you it's going to have problems on the 4-hour, just like Bitcoin is having problems on the 4-hour. So the 21 in May could be a problem here for Solana at $89.68. We're not that far away from that. We're actually about to hit that. See, 8-hour time frame. 21 in May is at $97. Maybe that might be where Solana has some problems as well. But guys, let me finish off this live stream. I do want to do some things and get my Friday night started here. Let's finish off by looking at Bitcoin, and then I'll see you guys. We'll plan on seeing you guys on Monday, same time, 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, so, you know, this might be the highs that we see, and then what? Then we have to start seeing 60K all over again. But if we see 60K, hopefully we make a higher low than 60K. Maybe we make a higher low at like 61, 62K. And then maybe this ends up being the new range where Bitcoin drops, you know, as low as 60K, but then comes back up to 70K. And we just ping pong back and forth between those levels there and make like maybe another bear flag here on Bitcoin. Similar to what we did here, you know, when Bitcoin was at 80 to 90K, right? Where we were kind of like ping pong in between. Well, we didn't really go down to 80K, but we were ping pong in between like 84K and 94K. Right, 84, 94K was like the range back in December and January. Before we kind of broke out to like 97K, only for us to then come down. Maybe this ends up being a little range here where we make a bear flag at like 63K. And then maybe we go up to like 73, 74K, and ping pong, ping pong, ping pong, make a bear flag. Maybe we go up to like 78K or 80K, and then we fall off again. Mark says he's still waiting for your Temu crystal ball. That's funny. Oh, Wei says it's going to 1 million. It probably will. I just don't think that's happening this year. I think some people were saying $1 million by 2030. And then another guy said, no, it's only going to go to like 260K by 2030. But I think the overall consensus is that Bitcoin is going to go to higher prices as long as you give it some time. And like 4 to 5 years from now, you know, we'll see Bitcoin at higher prices for sure. Jay Shareem's in the chat. Oh my god, Jay, you kind of came in right when I was about to end the live stream. We talked about Iran yesterday. And Justin Crypto says, a little bit of lag, horrible lag here. That's unfortunate. If that's what's messing up my live stream, that's not good. Alright, I'll look at Iran real quick here, but just to let you know, I was literally about to end the live stream here. I just gave my closing thoughts there about Bitcoin, but we'll take a look at IREN real quick. I think we talked about this yesterday. Did you get a decent day today? You kind of did. You went up 5%. You have $41.83 here. And IREN is a stock for my stock market guys out there. Did we make a higher low here? We came as low as $36.52. And I think the other significant low was like right here at $37.20. We actually made a lower low. Okay. Made a lower low on price here. That's interesting. Kind of like took out the liquidity here. Probably because what they did was they took out whoever put stop losses below this low. They came for it yesterday. Or yeah, they came for it today actually. I'm on the 4-hour time frame. Let's get back to the daily time frame here. But yeah, whoever put stop losses like right here, kept it tight next to the last higher low here, they came for that today. That sucks. And I mean now you're trying to get a bounce off the 100 moving average, this blue line here. But we did say like $38 was an area to look for, and also this 100-day moving average is at like $40. So you're at a level where it should act as support. If not, then maybe we gotta fall down to the 200-day moving average, and that's sitting at like $32, and right above this 0.236 at $29. So I think that's your next level to defend. If you can't stay at $40 here, you're gonna probably see $32 here. And let's see, do we got the momentum to go up to higher prices? On the MACD indicator, you got selling pressure still an issue here. So we'll see how we are on Monday and Tuesday, but selling pressure is still an issue. If selling pressure starts dying off, then it's not going to be an issue. You'll see higher prices here. You want to see something like this when selling pressure starts dying off on the MACD on the daily time frame here. Right now, you got like this. It's just selling pressure increasing. You're waiting for something like this where selling pressure starts decreasing here. But you don't have that yet. Not yet. And they just had a bad earnings report? Oh no. On Thursday, they were expecting to only lose 11 cents per share. They lost 50 cents this year. Oh my god, that's not good. And then they were expected to report revenue at $224 million. They only made $184 million in last quarter. Well, no wonder they're coming down to low prices. And I think if they're going to still be in a downtrend, you're going to see that 200-day moving average at $32 here, $32.75. So there you go. I think this thing wants to go down, not up. And if you do decide to go up, you got that 50-day moving average to act as resistance at $50. You got the 21 EMA at $52. So I think $50 and $52 is where you should take profit if you're able to take some profit, if that's what you want to do. But you have to ask me about this one again, I guess, on Monday or Tuesday. We'll see what Monday and Tuesday does. I'm expecting this thing to go down and probably reach for the low 30s. Today you got to bounce. I don't know what that was all about. Maybe that's because of the macro environment. A lot of stocks went up, as well as crypto. But I think, you know, if this thing continue being a bad stock with a bad earnings report here, you're gonna see that 200-day moving average get tested at least once. So $32, $33 is where I would put some buy limit orders in, see if you get some cheaper IREN there at that price level. Alright guys, that's it for today. Hopefully you guys have a good weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl. I'm hoping that that Bad Bunny wins the Super Bowl. And then I've also heard that there's a football game going on, and maybe you know, I want to see the New England Patriots win that football game. So yeah, because I am a Boston sports fan here, New England guy. We got some trouble here. We got Capri saying Seahawks. We shall see. It's going to be an interesting game. Maybe they'll get their revenge on the Patriots like they've been waiting for this all these years. But that would suck if they, you know, Seahawks lose again. And if they lose again doing the same thing, oh my god, that'd be like priceless. We'll talk about that forever. But anyways, yeah guys, that's it for today's live stream. I will see you Monday, 4 to 6 p.m. Good luck trading and investing in whatever asset you get into, and go Patriots. Let's win that Super Bowl, Patriots.